We are live on YouTube. Welcome to you all. Thank you for being here with me today. So you thought I was going to say thumbs up to cannabis, right? In weed. And numerous people have said over the years that those that partake in marijuana or cannabis are more likely to have PTSD. Now, this new report from Washington State University says cannabis can actually relieve PTSD. Now, I'm going to take this to another level. And again, I'm going to read the article as it sits, and then I'm going to try to give you a little bit of insight into this. Stop. Before you buy hemp, you must ask. And we're going to go through a checklist because this talks about marijuana. I'm going to say that the workhorse in marijuana is cannabidiol, an active ingredient in marijuana, also in hemp. And I still think that is the real workhorse here, so that if you know somebody that's suffering from PTSD, that the use of CBD, the right forms at the right dose, could make a world of difference and actually save a life. People suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder report that cannabis reduces the severity of their symptoms by more than 50%, at least in the short term, according to a recent study led by Carrie Cutler, a Washington State University assistant professor of psychology. Cutler and her colleagues analyzed data from more than 400 people who tracked changes in their PTSD symptoms before and after cannabis use with strain print, STRAINPRINT, which is an app developed to help users learn what type of medical cannabis works best for their symptoms. The group collectively used the app more than 11,000 times. That's 400 people used the app more than 11,000 times during a 31-month period, not quite 3 years. The study recently published in the Journal of Affective Disorder showed cannabis reduced the severity of intrusions, returning thoughts of a traumatic event, by 62%, flashbacks by 51%, irritability by 67%, anxiety by 57%. Find me the name of a drug that works that well. It goes on to say the symptom reductions were not permanent, however. And again, because of the addictive ability of cannabis, it can't be used time and time again. This goes on to say, the study suggests that cannabis does reduce symptoms of PTSD acutely, but it might not have longer-term beneficial effects on the underlying condition, said Cutler. Working with this model, it seems that cannabis will temporarily mask symptoms, acting as a bit of a band-aid. But once the period of Sometimes I wonder about doctors. Once the period of intoxication wears off, the symptoms return. So she's basically saying, you used this, you got stoned, you didn't think of PTSD. Get the idea she's a bit prejudiced that this would even work? PTSD is a disorder affecting people recovering from traumatic events. It impacts women about twice the rate of men. While therapy is recommended as the primary treatment, Cutler said there's growing evidence that many people with PTSD are self-medicating with cannabis. A lot of people with PTSD do seem to turn to cannabis, but the literature on its efficacy in managing symptoms is a little sparse. This woman went into this study with a predetermined concept that she's going to try to disprove it. This study provides some insight into the effectiveness of cannabis on PTS, but all the time on the other side of but is usually a bunch of derogatory statements. But as the authors note, it's limited by reliance on self-selected sampling of people who self-identify as having PTSD. So again, they're saying this study was flawed because the people that volunteered for this self-diagnosed themselves? Really? Also, it's not possible to compare the symptom reduction experienced by cannabis users to a control group using a placebo. Why not? While some placebo-controlled clinical trials have been done with nabilone, a synthetic form of THC, few have examined the effects of the whole cannabis plant on PTSD. Why don't they use CBD? In this study, Cutler and her colleagues looked at a variety of variables but found no difference in the effects of cannabis with different levels of THC and CBD. I would be very contrary to that. Two of the most studied constituents of cannabis. The results imply that some of the combinations of THC, CBD, and perhaps some of the many other parts of the cannabis plant can create the therapeutic effect. Cannabis has many molecules that can create biological effect, including up to 120 cannabinoids, 250 terpenes, and around 50 flavonoids. We need more studies to look at the whole plant cannabis because this is what people are using much more than the synthetic cannabidiols. It's difficult to do placebo-controlled trials with whole plant cannabis, but they're still really needed. Washington State University, Short and Long-Term Effects of Cannabis on the Symptoms of Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder, Journal of Affective Disorders. This was published June 9th. I'm not going to take up and say, dear doctor, you didn't do a very good study there. But dear doctor, you didn't do a very good study there. Would I recommend it? Yeah, I would. Along with proper hydration. But again, as I said, this little brochure, stop. Before you buy hemp, you must ask, number one, is it full spectrum? That means it has all the parts of the plant. You heard what that article just said. They had no way to guarantee if you had all the terpenes and everything else that was in the plant. So if it's a full spectrum hemp extract, it does. Number two, is it grown on a USA organic farm? There's only one in the United States. Number two, is it single sourced from farm to bottle? Number three, is it extracted using supercritical CO2 extraction, not alcohol based? And number three, is it chemical, solvent, and pesticide free? Next, is it distilled for purity, odor, and bioavailability? Is it USDA organic? Is it backed by a certificate of analysis? Is it third-party tested? And is it available in a wide variety of delivery systems? Liquids, capsules, and my favorite, which is the gummy bears. So ask those questions, would you? Nutritional Frontiers is the brand that we turn to. Big, big, big fans, and have had absolutely traumatic effects, especially for anybody suffering from PTSD. So, you want more information on that? We're going to be having it up on our website. In fact, a lot of it's on there right now at thenutritionshop.net, THE, thenutritionshop.net. Wednesday on the show, as much as I want to fight it, we're going to go back to coronavirus because it seems like everybody forgot. Back in March, when it first started, everybody was walking in the door. We had people standing in line to buy supplements to protect themselves. We've all let our guard down. You see what's happening. I'll go through it again about how important the supplement use is. We'll do that this upcoming Wednesday. If you need help in the meantime, call us here at the office, 678-228-8900, 678-228-8900. Our website is thenutritionshop.net, THE, thenutritionshop.net. Share the show with others, won't you? And continue to watch and guide with us. 678-228-8900. I'll see you back here tomorrow. Take care.